Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom. These active shooters are fueling the devil's narrative against us, okay? And this is another situation where an active shooter has, showed up at a college campus or just some public place, okay? And they've wreaked havoc, all right? Now, I'm going to just go ahead and blow the lid off of the cup and just tell you the truth about this situation, okay? Because we're starting to see this a lot more often, all right? It's getting to the point to where it's like every week there's a new active shooter, all right? So if your spiritual lenses is on and you're using common sense, you can see that, there's something going on deeper than what the public knows about these active shooter situations, all right? It's a lot of conspiracy around this. And, contrary to popular belief, okay, a lot of these active shooter situations, all right, I'll say about 95% of them are staged. Yes, you heard it right. 95% of these active shooter situations are staged by the powers that be, okay, to create a narrative for when the time comes of false accusations. Okay, the devil will have, he will have suspects to point the finger at. That's all this is about, okay? To generate fear in the public and to set up the narrative of, basically putting false accusations on innocent people who had nothing to do with it, all right? So this is a situation that just happened, all right? It says developing active shooter triggers lockdown at University of Tennessee in Chattanooga, all right? So let's read a little bit about this, and then we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how a lot of this shit is staged and how a lot of this is all being orchestrated by Esau Edom, okay, the U.S. government, the powers that be, okay, for a more sinister agenda, all right? It says the University of Tennessee in Chattanooga is on lockdown after an active shooter was reported on the college campus. Students and staff were urged to run, hide, or fight in an alert issued on Thursday morning while indicating there is a possible active shooter in the library. Okay. The Hamilton County branch of the State Emergency Management and Homeland Security urged people to avoid the campus until further notice, saying it was on lockdown. All right. So just like every other active shooter situation, Salakia, the wind is picking up. All right. That's because the spirit is picking up. Scriptures talk about how the spirit is like the wind. All right. But it's funny how a lot of these active shooters, okay, it's pretty much the same story. All right. Where, a lot of them are going to college campuses, elementary schools, you know what I'm saying? And, shooting shit up, you know what I'm saying? They're, a lot of them leave behind some type of manifesto, detailing their terrorist plot that they supposedly had in the works for months before the incident happened. It's the same story if you're paying attention, okay? And, if you know anything about crisis actors, And, you know, if you know anything about that, you know that a lot of these situations are definitely not what they appear to be, okay? A lot of this shit don't even be happening, all right? Because, you know, the power of the media, okay, it's all witchcraft. So they could just say anything on the news and say, oh, it's an active shooter in this area. It's an active shooter running around here doing this. And then ain't nothing really going on, though, okay? It's just a bunch of people with, you know, dressed up in uniform, basically playing a role, and they got cameras rolling, okay? Making it seem like, you know, some big incident happened. And then they just throw out numbers. Oh, 4 of them are dead. 4 people are dead. And a lot of the times, those people don't even really be dead, man. All right? It's all witchcraft and enchantments, man. All right? You know, and you'll notice how a lot of these active shooters, a lot of these niggas is like ghosts. They're like people that really don't even exist. You know, when they release the name of the active shooter, because that's like the last thing they do is release the name. But when they actually do release the name and the suspect's personal information, you try to look that person up on the internet and you won't even be able to find them. Nigga ain't got no Facebook, nigga ain't got no Twitter, no nothing. Okay? So a lot of these people are being paid off by the U.S. government, okay, to commit these acts. If that's really what happens, where, you know, an active shooter comes in the mix, you know what I'm saying? And then on the other side, like I said, a lot of it all be just like a goddamn theater show, okay? And then they set up people to, you know, like after the active shooter situation, you know, the camera crew will go out and interview people who were involved in the situation. And, you know, a lot of them people be crisis actors. They're paid off actors to just, you know, basically big up the story. Okay? And, you know, now that I'm you know, I'm with the Lord, and I'm in this truth. When I see situations like this, and then I see the camera crews interview the people that were so-called allegedly involved in the situation, I can see through it like fucking like a glass door. You know what I mean? You can see through the whole situation through a glass door, man. You could tell that those people that the camera crew is doing an interview on, you can tell they're actors, and they're not even good actors. You know, nigga stuttering, nigga saying shit that don't make no sense. They cutting the camera off fast, and then there's numerology involved with this. So yeah, it's a lot of witchcraft behind these little situations with this active shooter shit. Okay, look at this. I put on Google, I said, how many active shooters has there been in 2025, right? And I found this list, okay? And these were all the active shooters in 2025, okay? Dating up until now. And this is just the first page, okay? It goes all the way to, let's see, 12 pages of active shooters in 2025. The first active shooter was in Chicago, January 1st. You see? New Year's Day. What are the odds of that? Okay? This got Esau written all over it, man. All right? And you have to understand that when the time comes where the devil points the finger at those that believe in the Lord, okay, he's going to bring out these situations, all right? He's going to bring out this active shooter shit, and he's going to put the blame on us, all right, in regards to this, okay? Facts, all right? This is this is one of the devil's strategies, okay, that he's been working for generations, man. Okay, he's gonna shift the blame towards the men of the Lord. All right, especially now with the capability of AI. You see how realistic AI is becoming, man. All right, you know, they got shit on the internet to where they got AI people, you know, like niggas sitting down having dinner at a restaurant. You thinking that those are real people, and it's all AI generated. You see, they got AI generated people saying shit. So, you know, who's to say, okay, they can't put our face on one of these active shooters, all right? Because they've already set up the stage for it, man. Remember, I knew about a couple active shooters that happened in the recent years where they were Hebrew Israelites. You had that so-called Hebrew Israelite that tried to run up in a Jewish mosque, okay? Another paid-off crisis actor, okay? This is a part of the devil's scheme to paint a narrative against the saints, man. All right, let's get a scripture real quick. This is Revelation 12, starting at verse 9. It says, "And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world." Okay, because that's all Esau Edom is doing. This great dragon, the serpent, all right, all of this represents Esau Edom, okay? The global elites, all right? The Caucasian race, all right? The global elites of the Caucasian race, those who run this world, the shadow government, okay? They're actively working day and night to deceive the world, okay? And to lead the masses of people into a dark, deep delusion to where don't nobody know what the hell is going on. And everybody is 100% dependent on what they're being told through the television, the radio, okay, through podcasts or wherever people are getting their source of information. All right. The global elites got their hand in it and they're twisting narratives. OK, deceiving the world with it, man. OK, so that way they can fulfill their globalist agenda, man. All right, because this is really all leading towards the mark of the beast. OK, the RFID micro technology that they want to insert inside your skin. This is what this is all leading to. But they have to completely turn people's mind into mush. They have to continue to generate fear. OK, to, you know, influence people to move in that direction of accepting that mark. Because they're going to pull this shit out, too. When that mark come out, they're going to say, oh, well, we don't know who a terrorist is. Look at all these goddamn active shooters. Look at all these mass shooters. We need people to integrate themselves with technology so that way we can get control on all of this chaos that's going on. OK, that's the devil. He's deceiving the whole world with these devices. It says he was cast into the earth and his angels were cast out with him. It says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. You see, so Esau Edom is an accuser. He's the accuser of the saints. Okay, when you go into the history of Nero, okay, what did Nero do? Nero burnt down certain buildings and certain landmarks, right? He burnt that down in the Roman Empire and then put the blame on the saints and said, oh, okay, well the Christians, the Israelites, they did it. You see? So that warranted an all-out assault on the believers of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Okay, it was very crafty how Nero did it. And, you know, brothers is saying that Trump is Nero in the reincarnation. And what do you see Trump doing? Okay, he's going in that same direction, right? Because it's starting off small. All right, he's coming after he's coming after, you know, the average ordinary Jakes first, the Jakes that are ignorant, because he can't just come after us outright because, you know, it's still a couple tools that could be used against them, like the internet. You know what I'm saying? So he has to kind of save us for last. But in the meantime, he's gonna come after the ignorant of our people, okay? And he's gonna use that, okay, to eventually come after the saints, all right? Come after those that believe in the Lord, all right? He's running the same operation, okay? And these active shooters, all right, are a part of that operation. That's why it's happening so frequently. You know what I mean? Here it is, you know, if the police, if they want to catch a nigga, you know, they have all of these tools and all of these goddamn fucking resources to catch a nigga before he do the crime, after he do the crime. But you got 12 pages of active shooters, so many active shooters in the year 2025 alone, and these niggas can't get a grip on this, and it's happening almost like every goddamn week. Let's go back to that page. Look, because according to this shit is these active shooters are happening like every goddamn week. Look, August 18th, 3 active shooters on August 17th. Yeah, so this is like a every week thing, man. Every week there's an active shooter somewhere. How come they have not got this under control, man? Okay, that's because they're orchestrating it. The powers that be are orchestrating these active shooters, man. All right, to fuel the narrative against the men of the Lord, man. Okay, now I got something in Chat GPT. I put, you know, because I play around with Chat GPT and, you know, sometimes ask Chat GPT certain questions, you know, to edify. So I put, what lengths will an evil person go to falsely accuse someone? Okay. So this is what Chat GPT says, because Esau is the evil person, okay, that I had in mind when I entered this into Chat GPT. Okay, so I'm gonna use this for edification's sake, all right, and show you what lengths, how far Esau Edom is willing to go, okay, to you know, come after the men of the Lord, and you know, just how much he's willing to tamper with false evidence, just how much he's willing to shift the media's perception against us. Okay, it's going to tell you all that right here. It says an evil or malicious person who intends to falsely accuse someone can go to extreme lengths depending on their motivations, intentions, intelligence, and resources. These actions are often calculated, manipulative, and deeply damaging. All right, some of the lengths such a person might go to include, okay. Now, right here, it says extreme lengths, orchestrating active shooters to pop up every week all throughout the United States. That's extreme lengths, man. Okay. Putting it all over the news. You know what I'm saying? Making people disappear because some people are, you know, witnesses to what really happened. So, you know, Esau Edom, he got people disappearing because of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So that way he could cover up his tracks. All right, these are extreme lengths just to accuse the men of the Lord, man. Like I just read in Revelation. Okay, the accuser of our brethren, Esau Edom. All right, it says fabricating evidence, creating false documents, planning physical evidence, editing photos or videos to misrepresent events. Yeah, and that's what's going on for sure. Hey, a lot of this shit we seeing on the internet, well, on the news, okay, and you know, the shit that you know, like basically they'll have like a video of a nigga doing something, right? Let's just say an active shooter. They got the active shooter walking through the hallway with a big ass fucking assault rifle, Hey, I believe a lot of that type of shit, bro. A lot of that shit be AI, bro. You know what I'm saying? Editing videos, editing photos and videos, man. Okay, you got people creating AI videos. You got people editing photos with fucking regular apps you can get out of the Apple store, man. You think Esau ain't got that technology, man? Okay, to edit a video and make it seem like something happened when it really didn't. Okay, if niggas can do this and do this off of downloading the app off the Apple store, imagine the type of technology Esau has, okay, the U.S. government has to fabricate shit, okay? It says manipulating others, all right? Using emotional manipulation to appear credible and gain sympathy, okay? And that's what Esau does, okay? Because with these active shooters, all right, it's always a goddamn sob story. They always, the victim was a young teenage girl who had her whole life ahead of her, and it was two teachers that were dedicated to the after school tutoring program. They always put a goddamn sob story on it, right? So that way they can pretty much persuade the minds of the people to feel sorry for the individuals and also demonize the active shooter, right? So when they present the men of the Lord as the terrorists of America, they're gonna play on people's hearts. They're gonna do the same shit. Oh well, these men were on the corners, preaching American destruction rhetoric, and look how it psychologically damaged this young 7-year-old girl. She's afraid to go outside because of the Hebrew Israelites. Okay? And I know, yeah, that's funny because it's like, man, this devil is corny. He wouldn't really do that. But yeah, that's what Esau is going to pull out of his ass, man. He's going to do anything, man. And it's going to be very corny to us. When he accuses us, it's going to be very corny. And it's going to be very fucking like, what could I say? Obvious that he's telling a lie. But remember, okay, these false accusations are not going to be to deceive us. It's going to be to deceive the simple out here. Okay, so the simple are going to be deceived by these false accusations, okay, and this false evidence that's going to be brought to them, man. All right, let's keep going. It says exploiting legal or institutional systems. Actually, let's get a scripture before we keep going, right? Let's get a scripture. Let's get this. This is Psalm 55:21. It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Okay. And when Esau is on Fox 5 News, when he's talking through the radio, okay, or any platform where, these devils can reach the masses of the people. All right. These devils, they got a good mouthpiece, man. That's how Esau has been able to, get by and dominate the world the way that he has, man. It's his goddamn mouth, man. How you think he was able to manipulate the Native Americans and convince the Native Americans that he was just a silly old Caucasian that ended up on the wrong side of the planet and he don't know what's going on and can you help me? I'm just trying to figure out my way. And then as soon as the Native Americans, the tribe of Gad, okay, they let their guard down. What this nigga do? He stabbed them in the back. Okay. So Esau, you cannot take Esau's words for granted and think that this devil don't have a good mouthpiece, man. He has a very good mouthpiece, man. And, with these whole little terrorist situations, okay, this is all based on what he's telling us, man. All right. I guarantee you a lot of these little active shooters that are popping up, I guarantee you the people that are not in on the gag, the regular local people that are in the area that the active shooting happened in, I guarantee you those regular people don't even know what the hell is going on. They didn't even hear about it. You know what I mean? Nigga been outside all day. He ain't seen no active shooter. But the media make it seem like the active shooter is just running around on a rampage. But you ask the regular people in the area, they'll tell you, nah, I ain't seen no active shooter. I ain't seen none of that. You see? So with this man's words, he's been able to deceive the masses, okay, and make people believe something that's not true, okay? So it says his words are smoother than butter. It says, but war is in his heart. Yeah, okay, and look at what Donald Trump and his cabinet, look at what they're doing, man. All right, they're preparing for war against you tribes, man, okay? They're getting ready to initiate a full-on assault against you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay? And they're doing it all in the name of stop terrorism, cleaning up America. You see? So they're presenting it like it's a beneficial thing for everybody, for them to lock Israelites away in detention centers and poke their fucking eyes out inside of them detention centers and put them to death. They're making it seem like it's a benefit for everybody. Okay? This man is truly the devil, man. Okay? That's why the scriptures talk about he had two horns. He had, what did it say? He had, roughly paraphrasing. Okay? Told you I always do that. He had two horns, but he spake as a lamb. Okay? I believe that's in the book of Daniel. All right? Two horns, but he spake as a lamb. Right? So basically, a lot of people think that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are at odds with each other, like the fucking like the Dallas Cowboys versus the Patriots or something, man. You know what I'm saying? When really they're all playing. When really, you know, the Republicans and the Democrats are all working with the same agenda. Okay, they're all on the same team. Okay. They're just doing it with different strategies to go about it. They're working with each other. Because look what Joe Biden did. He fueled the narrative. Okay? Joe Biden brought in all of these immigrants. Just let like millions of undocumented immigrants into the country. You remember that? Right? And then once he stepped down and Donald Trump got in office, what was the first thing Donald Trump said? Okay, we got to round up these immigrants. You see, because they're working together, man. All right? They're working together, but they got the people fooled, okay, thinking that they're at odds with each other and both parties are just doing what's best for America. Okay? But war is in this man's heart, man. Okay? War. It says his words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And let's go back to ChatGPT. Okay. It says, number 4, it says engaging in psychological warfare, gaslighting the victim, launching smear campaigns online or in their community. Yep. And that's what we're going to deal with, man. Okay. That's what that's what Yahweh Shai dealt with. He dealt with smear campaigns back in them times, man. Niggas create narratives, okay? But now we live in a digital era to where, you know what I'm saying, they could pretty much write a goddamn blog about us, all right? And talk about how we're America's most wanted, and people are going to go for it, man. Okay? This is why brothers say, count the cost, man, because this is getting ready to be a reality soon, man, that, hey, we're going to be America's most wanted out here, man. Okay, can you deal with that, man? Can you still retain your faith in the Lord, all right, and be faithful unto death? Because some of us will be put to death for this word based off of this devil's accusations, man, all right? It says maintaining a convincing persona, all right? Let's see. Bottom line, a true malicious person might stop at nothing if they believe the reward outweighs the risk. And what is the reward that Esau Edom is trying to achieve? The New World Order. Okay? That is the reward that the devil wants to fulfill. Okay? That's a reward for himself. The New World Order, to where he got everybody chipped up, right? And people are just perpetual corporate slaves, and their motor functions are all being controlled through technology, man. All right. Ultimate control. You could tell because when you listen to these devils that are talking, okay, it's like the WEF. All right. You listen to how them devils talk, man. You could tell they Elon Musk, them niggas is salivating to integrate technology into society, man. All right. They're salivating at it. They can't wait for that day. Right. Because that they believe that that's their reward, the New World Order. OK, but the Lord is getting ready to crash their plans. All right. And set up his New World Order. Yahweh Shai is getting ready to set up the true New World Order, which is the kingdom of heaven. OK, coming very soon. It says a truly malicious person might stop at nothing if they believe the reward outweighs the risk, or if they simply enjoy causing harm. A sadist. Esau Edom is a sadistic man. Okay, Esau Edom likes to see people in fear. He likes to, you know, he likes to make people disappear, as I said. Okay, he likes people in sorrow and in pain and suffering. He's a sadist. Okay. It says understanding their tactics is critical for protecting oneself and building a solid defense if falsely accused. Okay, and how are we protecting ourselves? Because we can't go to the court system. All right. When that day comes, when Esau brings us in them courtrooms based on all of this goddamn false evidence that he put against us, we're not going to be able to, you know, lawyer up. Right. We're not going to be able to get a lawyer and pay off a fucking lawyer. And let me present my case. And according to section 3, 4, 5. No, we're not going to be able to do that, man. Our only defense in this time, man, is the spirit of the Lord. OK, it's Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. That's why the Lord said, all right, don't fear when you go up in them courtrooms, okay, face to face with them devils, because the Lord said, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to give you a mouth to speak. Right. So the Lord is going to be working in our favor, man. OK, that's our strong defense. All right. Let's get this last precept real quick. This is Revelation 13 and 14. It says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Okay, and this is all talking about Esau Edom, man. Okay, going into when Esau Edom came out of the caves, okay, in the Renaissance period. Okay, and that's when he began to deceive the world. Because when was the image of Jesus Christ painted? It was painted during the Renaissance period. So as soon as Esau came out, he started to deceive the world, man. All right, and he's he's in that little season of still deceiving the world, man. Okay, but it's pretty much wrapping up, and you know, like Revelation 12 and 12 talks about the devil is going to come down with great wrath because he knoweth that he had but a short time. This active shooter bullshit, this is a part of Esau's great wrath, blaming the saints because he knows that the Lord is getting ready to kick him off the throne, man. All right. And he's going into slavery. Okay. So Lord willing, this was edifying, to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom, shalom.